Welcome to the new rock album review show. I'm your host Nigel. Welcome to my wonderful panel, to Paul, to Andy, and to Lauren today. We are reviewing the latest rock albums, and today's offering is the wonderful Snow Patrol and their new album, The Forest. The Forest is the Path. The Forest is the Path. If you don't know Snow Patrol, Northern Scottish rock band, formed in '94. I mean, listen, I'm just going to read the last paragraph because otherwise we'll be here forever. Their major label debut album, Final Straw, was released the following year, in 2002. The album was certified 5 times Platinum UK. In 2005, McClelland left the band and was replaced by Wilson. The next studio album, Eyes Open, in 2006, and its hit single, Chasing Cars, reported in 2019 to be the most played song of the 21st century on UK radio. Now,
it beat This the Bright Side, bloody hell!
And now, they're front of us lot, ready as we sharpen our knives for their latest offering. Or will we? Will we? Paul. Talk about sharpening the knife. Let's start with you then. Snow Patrol. Fan? Not a fan? Let's share it.
Okay, so there was one thing I was expecting when I was informed that I would be reviewing Snow Patrol's latest album, The Forest is the Path. That I was going to be comatose, slack-jawed, with drool dripping down my chin, my eye twitching now and then as some sort of response from my mind that had drifted off to some alternative universe where mice were the rulers riding around on the heads of giraffes on some distant planet, which meant they were the first to eat marshmallows that fell from the sky like snow. Well, I wasn't wrong. Even the second time round, I didn't get to the third time. I didn't get to the third time as my whole being refused to listen to this depressing, monotonous tripe. You could argue that Hold Me in the Fire and The Years That Fall are more upbeat, but I really doubt that even the most hardened Snow Patrol fan will enjoy this album. And I can't believe they've beaten out Sharkadoo, as well as the most listened song this century.
Well, I think there might be some people who might disagree with you, Paul. Lauren!
Did you get AI to write that review? Because it sounds very chatty GPT. With all the mice and stuff.
No, this is reality, Andy. It was reality.
Well, Lauren, Snow Patrol? Fan? Not a fan? Were you on some distant planet with mice riding giraffes and marshmallows falling from the sky?
Thankfully, no. Otherwise, I think they would have mixed up some of my medications. Overall, so I was already not a fan, but I liked Snow Patrol as a sound and stuff like that. Mainly because it was a big formative part of my early listening years, because they were just everywhere. They were in TV shows, they were on the radio, their sound was everywhere, and there was just no escaping it. If you go to a family wedding, you're gonna hear them. It's one of those sort of things. At the start of the album, I thought it started off okay, sort of warm, familiar vocals that you know. Apart from that, it didn't massively go anywhere for me. My main notes were warm vocals that bring home the emotionality of some of the lyrics in the music and stuff like that. It's authentic to them, but ultimately it's pop and stuff like that. Nothing sort of really went in there for Rocky. Like I said, a little bit biased because it was a big part of my listening growing up, but ultimately nothing really new.
Andy, Snow Patrol fan, my friend?
You know what? I've always had quite a complicated relationship with Snow Patrol. In that I haven't really thought about them much, but I kind of have thought about them because they've always been around. But I've never really liked them. I don't actually like Chasing Cars as a song. I think it's just a bit kind of thing. But you know what? Actually, I'm going to back the trend because I really like this. It was different to what you think about Snow Patrol. You usually expect sort of massive indie anthem kind of, you're sitting there festival and it just sort of washes over you and you sort of like sing along with it. But this wasn't. This was much more introspective, much more downbeat. It's quite moody. It's quite quiet in times. But I thought sonically, actually, it became much more interesting as a result of it. Obviously, it's like quite introspective. There's quite a lot more sort of like internal kind of like feelings which are sort of like coming through from the lyrics. I did just like pick one out, which is sort of like jumped into my head. It said like "love is pain in reverse," which I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. And normally lyrics sort of like just wash over you, but that one sort of like stood out. I thought he's actually sort of like doing stuff here. So I thought actually it was sonically very interesting and very sort of something we should get into. I find it sort of like a bit akin to sort of like later era Radiohead. Not the same musicality or sonic interest as Radiohead, but sort of like going from something which was very big indie, sort of indie rock, through to something much more quiet and sonic. Which obviously Radiohead did. I think that's probably maybe a little bit what they're trying to do here. But I actually really enjoyed it a lot. This one.
So, Snow Patrol in this particular album, you have to be in a certain place at a certain time to introspective of their lyrics, I think is the right word, and I was in that place. I think that lyrically it's a very lyrically heavy album, and it's got a lot of messages in there, and you forget the music, forget the fact it's not going to be a rock album, it's not going to set your world on fire. But if you just sit and let this album and you listen to the words in particular, and you're in a certain place at a certain time, it's going to resonate with you. And some of the records in particular resonated with me. So I actually got into the album. I love the song All as well. It's not an album that I am going to just put on and go, oh yeah, it's on, I'm going to put it. It's going to be, I've got my headphones on, I'm in a certain place, I'll be walking in the woods and I just want to kind of just, I want a chill album, and I'm feeling thoughts, and I want to maybe think about heavy things in my life. And this album does that for you. I thought it was incredibly well produced. I think it was incredibly well written. Really, 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 really. I mean, some of the lyrics were fantastic, and I think that Snow Patrol wanted to put some meaning out there, but without going down, this kind of prog rock kind of feel to it. There was still that influence of that old Snow Patrol kind of vibe, and to not to go down that kind of proggy rock like Arctic Monkeys kind of did, and that sort of stuff as well. So I did enjoy the album, I must admit. But yeah, okay. Trish thought it was okay. She didn't mind the album, so it was all right. But let's find out what the rest of the panel will it get into our Hall of Fame. Let's find out, shall we? Then let's start with the knife in the back. Paul.
I give it a grand total of 1.
Lauren.
I gave it a 3.5. I didn't mind it.
Andy.
I gave it a 4.5 because I really enjoyed it.
You did. Trish give them a 3. I give them a 4. Paul, you're on your own. After your earlier 5 of the month, it's back to normality. From that perspective, I'm joking. Snow Patrol scored 16. Didn't get to our Hall of Fame. 3.2, which is pretty solid. There's a lot of really solid albums. They got 14th of our favourite albums out of 16 for the month. 258 out of 444 for the time. So pretty solid. 90th out of 142 this one. So better than average. Pretty solid. And I think to summarise, it's either gonna resonate with you or it's not. But yeah, okay, cool. Thank you very much. Thank you to my wonderful panel, to Paul, to Andy, and to Lauren. Goodbye for now. Keep on rocking.